Hello everybody, welcome to the official press conference at TRUMPF at the EuroBLECH. I'm very glad that so many people are here tonight, both here at our booth as well as in our online stream. It's really good to have you here. With me on the stage are Stephan Mayer, he's our CEO for Machine Tools, and Marcella Montelatici, she's Managing Director for Sales and Services at TRUMPF. Before we start with our little conversation here, I'd like to give you some information for our tonight's schedule. First of all, I will have a little talk with my two guests here on stage about some strategic topics and also about the most important trends in sheet metal manufacturing. After that, I would like to invite you to join me for a little booth tour here, where we can see the most important innovations live. After that, it will be around 7:30, I think. We would like to invite you for dinner, that we have the chance to deepen our conversations and talk about your topics. Okay, so let's get started. My first question goes to Mr. Mayer. Mr. Mayer, as you know, the companies in the sheet metal manufacturing industry are not having an easy time right now, for example, because of the energy crisis, cost pressure from abroad, or the shortage of skilled qualified workers. What, in your opinion, are the most important issues the companies have to deal with?
Yeah, well, if we look back over the last 18 months, we had an incredible increase in order intake in this industry. So everyone had actually a very good time in order intake. But at the same time, and this was due to the, let's say, after COVID effect, where customers started to reinvest. At the same time, we have been facing a severe supply chain crisis where we were not be able to get all the parts that have been required to basically deliver this enormous order intake. So over the last 18 months, we have started to build up a certain backlog in deliveries. At the same time, we have been faced by inflation, substantial inflation. So today we are in a situation where we have a certain order backlog which goes over several months, but we have increasing material cost and inflation in our overall cost. So we now, and that leads basically to a very difficult EBIT situation where the costs have been increasing faster than we were able to adapt prices and be able to deliver. So that is one topic that affects the whole industry, all manufacturers, and when I talk to other OEMs, I basically get the same message. So that is one issue. The other issue, I'm talking, when we talk about global situation, the decoupling between the Western world and China, this is also something which gives us a lot of headaches. We see more and more blacklisted companies in China. We see that Chinese government is more supporting local companies, and this, as a global company, also for us gives us a hard time to make the right decisions how we interact and how we do our business in all these areas in the world.
My next question goes to Mrs. Montelatici. Mrs. Montelatici, sustainability is a really important topic in the industry or in the economy. What significance does it have for TRUMPF?
Sustainability is one of the most important trends that we have now in our world, and not only in sheet metal fabrication, but really it's something affecting all of us. Sustainability has high priority at TRUMPF. We can see sustainability from two different perspectives. So internally, so what we are doing to improve our sustainability at our facilities, in our buildings, and TRUMPF is investing a lot of money. By 2030, we will have spent 80 million euros in sustainability. We will have by 2027 10% of the electricity consumption covered by renewable energies. And this is one part of the story, but there is another part of the story because we know that the biggest part of the emission is in the product use, so at the customer side. And this is something that we have to focus on, and we put a lot of efforts also in our R&D department so that we come up with solutions that can really help our customers to save energy, to save material, to protect the environment and to protect also people, because safety is one important issue. It's also part of sustainability. For example, here at the EuroBLECH, we present our Eco Cooler, which is a revolutionary cooling system, environment friendly, because it uses just pure water to temper laser instead of pollutants or refrigerants. And this protects the environment and also makes possible to save up to 80% energy. And we have plenty of these solutions that we can offer to our customers also to save material. Let's think to the coil system, the machine which is working from coil. Just using the coil instead of the sheets, you can save 15% in purchasing the material, and then you can optimize much better the usage of material. So again, saving money and saving important and energy-intensive material. So there are a lot of topics we are working on.
Mm-hmm. Digitization is another really important future trend in sheet metal manufacturing. In which way does this affect the services of TRUMPF, and how do the customers react to that? Mrs. Modelatici.
Thank you very much for the question, because I'm very passionate when talking about the services, because I spent almost all my life in that. We talk a lot about digitization. I think digitization for services is really a game changer, because through digitization we can really bring about this big change and this shift from all the services done on site towards the services done remotely, and using the digital tools just to help the customers not being on site, not traveling on site, which is again sustainability, but really using more and more all the tools remotely to help the customers. And this means, for example, being also much more proactive, because the service so in the last 20, 30 years was mostly reactive. Now, through digital solutions and data-driven services, we can really be proactive. We can really monitor the machines. We can recognize the weak signals the machine is sending to us, and we can call proactively our customer and tell him, pay attention, you could have a breakdown, or this part could fail soon. So this is something that is really also playing a big role in the big sustainability issue again, because if you reduce downtime, it's really a big achievement also for the customer. And then we have very easy, but I think fascinating solutions like the service app. There is this big mobile phone, huge mobile phone representing our service app. And our customers can really 24 hours a day open their own service tickets autonomously. So putting the machine, putting the mistake, and they can track exactly what's happening. So when we are taking over the call, what we are doing, where parts ordered, and so on. And this is really a game changer, helping a lot the customer, saving also resources, because we are in direct contact with the customer without, for example, using a call center or something like that. And we have no limit in the time. So 24 hours a day, the customer can decide himself when he needs to open a ticket.
And maybe if I might even add on that. So you talked a lot about the proactive service, especially when it's about you have a failure and then we fix it. So we are able to avoid the failures before they happen, because we see what the machine is actually doing. And then there is even a further step, we call it performance service, which means that we monitor the machine, and we not only monitor the machine and looking if some bad things are happening, like a failure, but we also look how the machine is run, and we identify if the machine is running inefficient. So it's running, but it's running inefficient. So also what we now do, we look at the machine, we look at the data, and we call the customer and tell him, hey, do you know that always during lunchtime your machine is shut off? Did you know that? And it's an automated machine, so you could run it through the lunchtime. Or did you know that the machine is only running at 80%? You should run it at 100%. So this is also now possible, being connected, and the first customers are using this. So, and we call this performance service. So we actually actively support the customer by improving and not only fixing bugs.
Thank you very much for your integration.
So I'm also passionate about service.
Yes, yes. You are getting better and better.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayer, a few months ago, Trump has founded a known company for consulting services, the Smart Factory Consulting GmbH.
Yes.
What's the idea behind that?
Yeah, it's actually it nicely follows up to what you just said. So, I mean, if you're looking around, you see that there is not only machines now that we are focusing on. Over the last years, we more and more focus on the whole process chain of sheet metal manufacturing. So there is a lot of service, as said. There is automation. There is software. There is a lot of things, and so we have identified just to sell a machine, do a training, and then let the customer alone is very difficult for the customer, because it's also for him very, very complex to really run these systems really efficiently. So they also need help that we can, and that's help we want to provide to help them understand how they run the whole system efficiently. And this is not done in one day. So with the founding of the Smart Factory Consulting, we have basically it's a management consulting team that supports our customers in the sheet metal industry, not for anything else, focusing on sheet metal, and who help to hand over the whole experience of TRUMPF to the customer, to help him, starting by optimizing the layout, optimizing how they run the software, looking at does he have the right machines, does he run the machines correctly, and so on and so forth, to help the customer to really get to the next level. And this is a consulting work, and this is why we have decided to initiate this team. And the customer feedback is really great, because we are now really addressing their pain where the pain is, and not just offering, hey, which machine do you want?
At the beginning of our conversation, we have already mentioned the energy crisis. Mr. Mayer, how is TRUMPF dealing with that, and which advice could you give other companies in the sheet metal manufacturing industry?
Well, if we have a crisis with let's say, increasing energy prices and availability of average energy, I would, of course, first try to save energy, right? So we, at the TRUMPF, we try to save energy by all the measures that you already know, right? We are a little bit turning down the temperature in the offices. We have on all our buildings, we have put all the solar panels, and we also try to look, now we just decided that we will shut down 2 buildings. And as many employees are at home office anyway, I think it's not a big deal to maybe shut down one office building and get the other people together in another office building to also save there some energy. So it is a crisis. It's not like small measures. We have to do something. So we are also taking more severe measures to really let's say, get through the winter and also, give our part of it. So that's one thing. And of course, and that's the same, I would recommend our customers try to save energy and look how you can do it. And Marcella, she already mentioned we are providing solutions to save energy, like the eco cooler, or another example, maybe this is also not known, 2D laser cutting machine for one sheet needs more than twice the energy than you would use if you would use a punch machine. And even within punch technology, there are different ways of running a punching machine. And for example, we have 2 different technologies, delta drive and C-frame. So if you even go for the, let's say, most advanced punching technology, you save another 30%. So basically, you can save up to 3 times the energy that you would need for a 2D laser cutting process compared to the state-of-the-art punching. So there are a lot of ways to save energy. I think that's what we can do.
Thank you. My next question also goes to Mr. Mayer. For the EuroBLECH, TRUMPF shows a new simple machine for the first time. It is a bending machine, the Trueband 1000. What's the idea behind these kind of machines?
There are a lot of ideas behind it. So if we look back the last 20 years, TRUMPF has mainly focused on developing more efficient products, more efficient machines, optimizing the whole process chain, better software, and so on and so forth. So we have put a lot of effort in high-end and getting the last 2% out of the process. And we have, honestly speaking, lost a little bit the view on customers who may not need all this high-end, efficient output 3-shift operation. And because there are also others who may just have started, they don't have the budget to afford this perfect system, and maybe they also don't need it because they maybe only run a machine for 4 hours a day. You know, Schlossereibetriebe for the German understanding. So small job shops who don't have the utilization, but still they want a robust and safe machine. On the other hand side, in parallel, we have seen that over the last years, we see a massive push of the Chinese machine tool builders now also starting to go out of China and reach into Southeast Asia and also to Europe, to Africa, to South America. So we see also this, and we see that there are customers who have a very low budget and they are simply then looking elsewhere because we basically don't have any offering. So, and there are a lot of customers in this area. So we basically found out, okay, we cannot only focus on high-end, we also need to offer something for let's say, lower budget. And that is basically the whole idea behind it. So we have taken all our knowledge, all our technology, our safety requirements, so all what we can do, and have put it into machines which are affordable for a much lower cost. We have reduced a little bit the output performance because that's exactly where we can also go further down, but where there is no compromise on safety, there is no compromise also on service, because we believe that even customers who have, let's say, a machine who is not running in 2 shifts or have maybe also only a limited spectrum and flexibility requirement because maybe they only have a few different part numbers, they still want to have a great service that in case of a breakdown, they want to get served immediately. So that is somehow the idea behind it, and we have a great feedback over the last two days. It's unbelievable. So somehow it proves that there is another customer segment, new customers who are somehow looking for something, and now finally we have it and can provide.
Yes, and if I can jump in,
please.
Stephan, it was our common journey, I think, our decision to go for this no-frill machines. So believing that there is a segment of customers that we can address, that we have to address, and it was, I think, a bold decision to do that, and we are very happy.
You can believe there is a difficult discussion internally because the people they have they're afraid of cannibalization. If the machine is too good, then maybe all the customers will only buy this machine. No one will buy the 5000 series anymore. Blah blah blah. And like. So it is a difficult topic because also, our brand stands for high end, for highest performance, for highest safety, for highest usability. So it is for us also difficult to find the right argumentation and differentiation that it fits still in the brand. But I think the brand does not only stand for highest efficiency, it stands for things which are maybe not even tangible so much. Trust what we say. Our brand stands for service. Our brand stands for you can believe, what we promise. Our brand stands for sustainability and all these kind of things. So this you will also get for this let's say budget machines, but not highest performance in this case.
Before I hand over to you, I have one last question for Mrs. Montellatici. We have also talked in the beginning, the shortage of skilled qualified workers is an issue for the industry. What does TRUMPF do to compensate that, and what recommendation would you give other companies to compensate that shortage?
It is a very hot topic. I think all over the world we are facing the same challenges. What is TRUMPF doing? I think we put a lot of efforts in remaining an attractive employer, offering to our employees very flexible working time models, offering high-end services, fitness centers on site, and everything possible. Particularly the young generation, they see a lot of importance in having this kind of possibilities, in flexible way of working. And this is what we are doing to stay attractive, and we are really making a lot of efforts in remaining and investing on employer branding. But still, it remains a big topic also for our customers around the world. And what are we doing for our customers? Just offering solutions that can a little bit minimize or mitigate the problem in the shop floor. For example, automation. Automation is for sure a very big trend, and with automation we can really avoid or reduce the involvement of the operators, because there are a lot of tasks that nowadays you can do through automation. But then there are also software solutions. Let's think about our new software suite, the Ocean, or Ocean, it depends how you want to pronounce it. We can, through this software, really give to the operators very clear instructions, a step-by-step guiding him what he has to do, so that the customer can use also less skilled personnel to do certain tasks. So it is not only a software for planning the production and monitoring and controlling the production, but really accompanying the operator in all the steps, both the with automation and also the manual tasks that he has to perform. We have also, for example, solutions like our startup Scale and See. So if the customer has a peak and cannot generate as many programs as he needs, because you have to program each part, we offer this service, just making the programming for the customer. So he's sending us the drawings, and we provide him the program. So he can use this service really when he needs it. Maybe because an operator, a programmer has left the company or is fallen sick or whatever. So these are all kind of solutions that we try to offer so that our customers can compensate a little bit this huge shortage of qualified people.
Maybe I can add one more thing. I think an example which makes it very easy to understand. So we put a lot of R&D effort in make the things easy to use. And when we talk about automation, we always have to consider, once you have the automation up and running, it's running automatically. You don't need someone. But to set up the automation, typically it takes a lot of effort and experience. So, for example, if you use a robot, you need to teach the robot. And teaching a robot takes time, takes hours. Our ambition is that we say, no, the robot teaches itself automatically. So the customer only gives to the robot the part, so the 3D design of the part. And our ambition is, and that is huge effort to develop, that the software unfolds the part, is calculating the part, and is programming the robot automatically. So we do automatic automation, because we cannot ask the customer to do 1 day for programming of the robot and then finally the robot is doing the work. We want to have both. It's very difficult to achieve it. I would say we have achieved it, because if you walk around and you look into our software, you can see you only upload the the CAD file, and the programming is starting to get done automatically. And that, I would say, makes the difference. It's a much higher effort to achieve it, but I think we are almost there. A lot of parts are already able to be programmed automatically, not all, but that's the way we go.
Thank you really much for your interesting explanations. It was good to hear all of that. Yeah, now it's up to you to ask your questions. For this, I would like you to just raise your hands that my colleague Manuel, who is equipped with a microphone, will come to your place. And yeah, just do me one favor, ask a question in the microphone that our colleagues in the chat have also the chance to hear it.
Yes, could you be? Oh, thank you. Automation is very big now. It's a big topic for you. And in terms of, especially in Germany and maybe on the continent, Europe, who buys the advanced automation solution? Is it medium-sized, upper, big companies, or is it also small companies?
Yeah, okay. So basically, I would say as you have different levels of machines, you also have different level of automation. So if you take big size companies, typically also job shops who have a repeating, not job shops, we call it product shops. So they have a product and they all repeatedly produce this product, washing machines or whatever. Then they like to buy a fully automated, we call it smart factory, so you have maybe a Stopa in the middle and then you have the machines attached to it, so it's highly, highly automated, and then they are running maybe 500 different part numbers on it, but every time the same, over months and over years. So that's typical. And there we sell a lot of these so-called smart factories. Today we have more than 1,000 Stopa systems where we work together for these huge factories. But also you have kind of mid-sized companies who maybe want to have an automated loading and unloading of a single machine. So they still provide more or less manually with a forklift the sheets, but then they want to have them loaded automatically and unloaded. So that's kind of an intermediate for mid-sized companies, and we sell this also nicely. But also we have entry-level companies, and maybe we cannot call it automation, let's call it supporting equipment that you don't have to load the machine by your hand. So it's low-end automation. So I would say for each level, you need something. In the past, we have very much focused on the high end. But as we now start more and more to provide also, let's say, budget machines, we also are going to provide more like this easier to use and let's say not so automated automation, right?
When you talk about mid-size, how many employees were you?
It's funny because our customers, they start with 3-4 people. So we have a lot of customers who only have 3, 4, 5 employees, and so really small companies. There are a lot. Our average, I think the average.
The average is about 20 people.
Our average customer base has 20 employees.
20 employees in average. And there is not a direct connection between the number of employees a company has and the degree of automation it needs. We have smaller companies which are highly automated, and there are big companies that don't need such a complicated and sophisticated automation. It depends a lot on the product. It depends on the application. It depends on the volumes that you have to produce. So there is not a direct connection, small companies, small, easy automation, or big company, big automation. No, this is not the case. We are selling smart factories also to companies that are not that big.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions? And the first row is a question.
We talked many about digitalization. And if we have a look at the situation in the world, I think cyber criminality is an increasing theme. What is TRUMPF doing in this topic?
So I mean, we are a big company, and as you know, we don't only are working in sheet metal and machine tools. We are also working in laser components, which are used in automotive, which are used in semiconductor. We have a huge area working for semiconductor. We are providing electronic generators for display manufacturing. So we are, beside the sheet metal, we are serving a lot of huge companies. And these companies, they have an even higher requirement on cybersecurity. So we have demand from our customers to ensure a high level of cybersecurity and information security. TRUMPF has a 2-digit million budget spending only for cybersecurity, which is by far higher than we would invest if it would be only sheet metal. So luckily, we are big enough to afford it, but also to be clear, you cannot never be 100% sure. So you can do a lot. We have, of course, a team who is ready that if something happens, they immediately jump in. There is a lot of software that you can run to filter most of attacks out and make sure that nothing is happening, but you can never be 100% sure. So it is a whole system of prevention, and if something happens, then you are very fast, and all these kind of things.
We simulate attacks, so we try really to do our best.
We try to hack ourselves.
Yep.
So you can ask a company to hack you, and then you get the report where they have been, how long they took. Typically, it's a question of how long they took, and what they found, and then you can start to fix this gap and all these kind of things. So it's a difficult topic, but we're doing a lot to prevent as much as possible.
Any more questions? Of course, you can also ask your questions in German. If you feel more comfortable, we will translate it here on stage. I just wanted to add that.
A question. You talked about a no-thrills bending machine. I was just wondering, is your fleet of laser systems getting a similar treatment? Are you doing introductory laser systems that are also like no-thrills as well?
So of course, laser cutting is always thrilling.
Yeah.
But yes, there is one additional machine planned to come.
Yes.
To match basically the offering now in bending. Nevertheless, even today with our True Laser 1000, you have already a machine which is in a different, let's say, pricing level with somehow reduced features and productivity that is much more affordable than our high-end levels. But yes, there is another machine coming. But it takes a little bit time because, again, when we offer it, it must be safe, it must be robust, it must, prove our promises, and there is no
compromise.
There is no compromise.
No compromise. So, and the brand, we stay for our brand. It's very important. So the customer promise must stay the same. Yeah. Okay.
Any more questions?
Maybe I would like to add one more thing, because let's not only talk about the low end, let's talk also about the high end. If we, for example, we are presenting the 24 kilowatt laser, and maybe we are not the first ones who presented such a high laser power, but I would say we are the ones who have proven it most. So we took our time to make sure that what we present and what we offer is now really doing the job as it should, and that the machine is still running in 10 years or in 15 years and is not cutting itself into pieces. And this is, I would say, so in some topics we can be the innovator and be the very first, but in other topics we take the time to make sure that we keep our promises.
And maybe I make the picture round. So there is not only a no-frill bending machine, maybe some point in time a no-frill laser machine, also programming. So we are also showing easy programming, because you have only to combine machine with the services, with the software. TRUMPF is positioning itself as a solution provider, and also on this level, this lower level, so entry level, we wanted to provide complete solutions. So we do not only present a no-frill machine, but we also are presenting a very interesting, easy programming system. Yep. And this is for us the key.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the bending and with the laser machines, which you will see in the other booth, there is also coming a new programming system, which is very, very easy to. It's so easy that we say you don't need to get training in classroom. You can do an own online training by yourself, and it is running. And this we can show you later in the
You download yourself and you get some tutorial, but it's so intuitive that you can use without a special training.
One other question in the back.
Please.
What's your thinking about laser power in the case of higher, speedier, especially in if you look back and if you look to the general energy crisis, saving energy? I have seen there a 30 kW laser. I think it's a Turkish company. I don't know. I haven't looked a close. Didn't take a close look at that. What's the
It's
opinion
actually
at TRUMPF?
ironic. No,
What do you think where it's going?
what about the laser the power race, right?
The power race.
I think there are different aspects of the power race. First of all, I would say what really counts is the process chain overall. So if you want to have more output, you have to look at the overall chain. And the pure cutting process is only a fraction of the whole process time. So I would always recommend, before you buy a 24 kilowatt, buy the 12 kilowatt, but make sure that the rest is really, catching up in the time. But of course, 24 kilowatt has some technical advantages. Of course, the cutting process is faster, no question. You also get, in thick material, nicer edges.
Better quality.
Yes. So both is true. By the way, talking about energy consumption, you have to calculate very precisely, because it, of course, needs more energy, but also it's cutting much faster. And the base energy consumption of the machine is basically the same, because the NC axis don't need more. So you might end up that, and we have calculated this, that let's not go into 24 kilowatt because I'm not 100% sure, but if you compare 3 kilowatt and 6 kilowatt, the 6 kilowatt machine needs less energy per sheet than the 3 kilowatt, because the axis take the same, so you end up with less. Maybe with 24 kilowatt you go back and it's then too high. And also I think most applications you don't need the 24 kilowatt. You go with 12 kilowatt and you optimize your loading, unloading, programming and all these kind of things. But there are some applications where speed is king, and then you should go now for the 24 kilowatt. But think about from who you buy it, because 24 kilowatt to have under control is very difficult. You need the right suction or your machine will be completely black within a couple of hours. You need a good, let's say the whole system must run together. The optics must hold and sustain the 24 kilowatt, or you throw away your optics in a couple of weeks. So the whole system, that's the challenge, and we think that the whole system has been finalized now, so you can be happy to buy it if you like.
Okay, then let's have a look into the chat. Maybe there are some questions in the chat. Manuel?
Yeah, there's only one question. If you look into the future, how will TRUMPF machines look like?
Maybe you want to start, Marcella.
Oh, that's a very interesting question.
Still
No,
white and blue.
I think this is a wrong question, because the problem is not how the machines will look like, how the solutions will look like. And the solutions are made by different things. Machine is one part, but I think the biggest steps forward we will do really in software. And these proactive services or performance related services, the machine are for sure an important part, but it's only a fraction. Again, it's the end-to-end process that we have to look at, and not only at the machine. So the machine, for sure, they have to be safe, they have to be robust, they have to be to take care of energy consumption and something like that. But as we told many times, it is a combination. It's a sum of different things that you have to think. And I think we will have less focus on machines and much more on software and services, just to offer the complete solution. Let's think about our business model, paper part or equipment as a service. The machine is no longer the
only piece, the only.
No, it's important what you want to produce, so how many parts you can get out of the machine. So this is for me the future, not just thinking in machines, machines, but more and more in thinking in solutions, which is easy to say, but not so easy to do.
No.
So it's a transformation, it's a change of mindset that we have to bring about.
And I can just agree on what you said. I mean, if you look back the last 10 years or 20 years and you look at the machines, even in the last 20 years, the machine has not changed so much, right? So on the machine, on the mechanical side, I think we are already reaching a certain level which is not changing every 2 years so much anymore. Of course, we can make it looking a little bit nicer. We can increase the laser power a little bit more. We can make the axis a little bit faster and these kind of things. But I would say the revolution comes with software and with the process view. So if someone is considering of buying a machine, he should, I would say, look at the software competence of this brand, and then you decide from whom you want to buy the machine, and not vice versa. My recommendation.
Okay, we still have time for one more question here. Is there any more question? This is not the case. So, thank you, Mrs. Modellatici. Thank you, Mr. Mayer, for taking time for us, for being here. The official part of our talk here is now over. I'll say goodbye to all participants in the stream, and the rest of you is now invited to join me or to join us for a little booth tour. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to everybody.